Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is 7:15, and if you saw my broadcast earlier today, I had mentioned that I was going to come on about this time, 7:15 Mountain Standard, to kind of walk folks through a flow, something they can do real time today. So yeah, if you're watching this and you have a mat and you're prepared to do some yoga, please feel free to follow along. If you're just watching to watch, feel free to watch to watch. But a couple things regarding the home practice. So if you have a mat, great, that's fine. I know a lot of folks use the mats at the studio, so not really a big deal there. If you don't have a mat, you're probably at home watching this, hopefully, or in a place where you have access to a little bit of space, and you can kind of make do with a mat, right? So something that is comfortable for your knees, a little cushion if you need it. Hell, if it's your floor, you don't even need a mat. Maybe you just use a carpet. That's totally fine. But if you have a mat, roll your mat out, get yourself set up. That'd be good to do. I like having a block around just because I like these. If you don't have access to a yoga block, a book or something this shape would suffice and work it, and it would work in place of your yoga block. So to get started, we are going to come to a comfortable seat. I like to start out my classes with a little bit of grounding. So it's nice to settle after a long day of life, especially right now. I mean, I am filming this from my house and not my yoga studio because of all of the current virus situation that I think we're all having to endure. So it's a really, really, really turbulent time. So even more so the reason why we need to make space for ourselves and opportunities for ourselves to focus on our breath, focus on our mind, really get in our bodies just to escape the constant barrage of information. Information is good. Too much information is bad. So once you get comfortably seated, sit up tall. If you're at home and you want to put something extra under your sits bones to elevate them more, you can use a block, you can use a pillow, you can use a bolster or blanket, just some little extra support that lifts the hips slightly above the knees. Allow the shoulders to reach up and then soften down and back. I invite you to close your eyes. Take a couple clearing breaths just to ground down and settle. So an inhale through the nose. I exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. On that last exhale, close the mouth. Let the breath focus coming in and out of the nose. Let it be soft. Let your body be settled. Let yourself be still. Being present in this moment. It's never easy to do. It's hard to sit in stillness when there's so much activity and chaos that surrounds us. But any bit of peace that you can invite in, even if it's only for a moment, will only help to widen the distance between your anxiety and your fears and the love and the peace that all subsides within you. As you feel the rising and falling sensation of your breath, feel your body move with each inhale. Feel it lift, feel it reach and expand, feel it take up space. And as you exhale, feel it soften, feel it sink, feel it relax. Try to find and ride that wave. Your breath is like the ocean, constantly in flux, constantly in movement. But you can find an anchor. You can find a bit of stillness by watching with non-judgmental awareness your breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Seeing if you can make that breath a bit smoother, a bit more equal in tempo, a bit more calming, a bit more relaxing. You are in an environment that might be different than most, so maybe you have distractions of life happening right now. I have a cat, you're going to see her, you're probably going to hear her a lot as we do this. But anytime you find yourself getting distracted, use that as a tool to come back to the present. Simply redirect back to the breath, come back to the body, come back to this moment. If you have an intention you want to set for class, let that come into the mind. Let that wander into your awareness. Let that be a part of your story. Maybe your intention is just to move a little bit. Maybe it's to try something new because you've always wanted an opportunity to do this, just haven't ever had the chance, and now you're stuck at home and some dude on the internet is showing you how to do it. I don't know. But whatever option you choose, know that that is your intention to help guide you through your practice. Know that when you find yourself being distracted or maybe frustrated, maybe you can find your way back to that intention. Maybe you can use it as your North Star. If you're seated on something, go ahead and remove that. If it's a block, set it off to the side. If it's a blanket or pillow, do the same. Turn the toes towards the front of your mat. Come onto your sit bones. We're going to start. First pose is Navasana. We're going to wake up the core. Jump right into it. Do all things. Soles of the feet come on the mat. Knees point up towards the ceiling. All right. Hands can come behind you for stability. Now, actually, turning the fingertips forwards a little bit better here so you can bend the elbows, right? Feet come off the ground. Soles of the feet face towards the front of your mat. Nice 90-degree position here. Notice how my hands are. That's option 1. Option 2, hands can come on to behind the thighs. And option 3, it's all no hands. You're using the core here to hold you up. This can be a lot of work for a lot of people. So maybe this is all you want. But if you want to play, we can play. Start to straighten out the legs. Lower down on your inhale breath. Hover shoulders and heels off the ground. See? Not touching. As you exhale, pull it up. You might notice that I'm shaking. It's usually a good sign that you're using the right kind of muscle. Squeeze your inner thighs together like you're holding onto a block that you don't want to drop. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. That's 3. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift for 6. Ooh, hold. That's nice. That's fun. Lift and elevate. Lift and elevate. Maybe you help yourself along the way. No worries. Shake a little bit. Lower all the way down. Take a moment. Set with that. Maybe the core and the thighs are feeling some type of way because you just asked them to do some things. But that intensity from your hip flexor, so like from here to here, your real core. See, everybody thinks it's all about six pack, but this psoas, hip flexor, all of that, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis. There's a lot that goes into the core. So don't just think about six packs. Think about center of your body, hence the word core. A couple clearing breaths. That's nice. Come back up. Find your high boat, Navasana. Inhale, lower. Exhale, bring it up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, bring it up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, bring it up. Give me two more. Take it down. Bring it back. Take it down. Bring it back. If you did none of this movement and you just held this pose, good work. It's all good work. Don't get it twisted as you see me move through various poses tonight. Crisscross applesauce is where we end up. As you see me start to move through various poses tonight, maybe they don't look that way for you. Maybe your skill level isn't there yet, or you're just figuring it out. So don't worry about the aesthetics. Focus on the engagement. Focus on making and creating a certain feeling within the body. Shift forward, find your tabletop. Fingertips towards the front of your mat, hips stack over your knees, toes tucked, nice and easy. Eye gaze down between the hands is a good place to be. Take an inhale breath, let your belly hang low and your pelvis tilt forward. Lift your eye gaze forward, draw your shoulder blades back. As you exhale, draw your tailbone down and in. Round and curl. Tuck your chin. Look up at your belly button. Draw everything in. Puff up through your back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Two more just like that. Flow and breathe. Move at your own pace. Try to wake up your spine. Work all the way through it. Really articulating that action. A forward and back movement. From here, shift forward, squeeze the inner thighs together, float the knees off the ground. Nice, easy hover, push through the mat, round through your back. Draw the hips up and back. Find your first downward facing dog class. So pedal out the knees, move it all around, grab the mat here, draw the hips up and back. Eye gaze towards the center of your mat, up at your belly button, one of the two, whichever one's good for you. Deep bend in the knees if the hamstrings are super tight. That's nice. Maybe tilt the pelvis a little forward. Keep an active press into the hands, draw the elbows back, push down through the index and thumb. If you got a little more hamstring flexibility, you can start to draw the hips up. Heels may or may not be grounded. We're going to do a couple plank rolls here. So we're going to roll forward to plank pose. If you are playing along with our Yogini Quarantini challenge that my friend Mia and DJ are throwing down, this was the first pose or transition of that flow. So check them out. They are all tagged. If you check out my last post, you'll see what I'm talking about. So give them a shout. See what they're doing. It's fun times. Inhale, shift forward. Plank pose. Push through the mat. Round through the shoulders. Draw the inner thighs together. Press out through the heels. Looks like a lot of work because it should be a lot of work. Breathe as you draw the core in. Same muscles we activated in Navasana. Bend knees. Draw the hips up and back. Down dog. Inhale, round forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, round it forward. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, round forward. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, round forward. Exhale, draw back. We could do this all night, but no one really wants to do that all night. So find your downward facing dog. Actively push the mat away. I know your arms might be screaming at you. You want to drop down to maybe a child's pose, which you can totally do. Take a rest. Take it nice and easy. No worries. But I encourage you to push yourself. No one's there to push you, so it's all on you. You've got to have the desire. You got to dig deep. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Look forward. Tiptoe. Tip, 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 tip to the top. Find your first forward fold Uttanasana. If you need to take a wider stance for your body, take a wider stance. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. Let your head hang heavy. Look behind you. Grab for opposite wrist or elbows. You can use a hand towel here. You can even use a block to rest the hands on. But stay heavy in the head. Maybe you add a little sway, a little movement to your Uttanasana. Find time to settle back into your breath, working through, finding a sense of lightness as we do these moves. Tuck the chin into the chest, round up one vertebrae at a time. Head is the last thing to rise, coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. As you arrive in mountain pose, take a moment just to settle. Maybe lift the toes off the mat and lower them down. Let them grip the mat a little bit. Help to find a bit of stability, a bit of groundedness in the pose. As you pull that energy from the root of the earth, up through the toes, up through the legs, squeeze the inner thighs together. Yep, draw them back. Draw the outer hips in. Palms forward, eye gaze forward, but soft. Hands lift on your inhale. Surya Namaskar, a sun salutation. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step the right foot back, then step the left foot back. Find your plank pose. For this first one, we'll modify lower down to the knees, lower down chest and chin. As you inhale, draw your heart up and through for low cobra. Tuck your toes as you exhale. Draw your hips up and back, pass through tabletop, or go right into down dog. Pedal out the legs here. Find a little bit of movement. Take an inhale, draw the right leg up towards the ceiling. Push out through the hands. Point out through the toes. High on the ball of the right foot as you exhale. Draw your right knee in, round curl. Step right foot forward or lower left knee down. Swing right foot around. Find that runner's lunge. Crown of the head is long. Left leg is long. High on your fingertips or on your blocks. Maybe that left hand comes down. You take a twist. Turn to the right. Reach the right hands for the ceiling. Push the mat away. Bring it back. Right hand down. Step left foot forward. Find forward fold. Each movement opening up, allowing a new sense of depth here for you to find in the pose, for you to reach. Inhale, reverse. And maybe things are just real stiff and you ain't finding no depth at all. You're just starting to learn what it feels like to embody these poses. That's okay. It takes time. That's why it's a practice, not a perfect. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold. Half lift, crown of the head is forward. Hips go back. Tuck your chin here. I like to scrunch my neck. I notice that a lot, so Try to keep the spine long. Step the left foot back. Find your plank pose. Modify lower knees, chest, chin. Untuck toes. Cobra on the inhale. Toes tuck. As you exhale, draw the hips up and back. Down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Point out through the left toes, push out through the mat. Come high on the ball of the right foot. That'll help give you space as you exhale round and curl. Tuck knee to nose, step left foot through. Lengthen crown of the head forward. Push heel back. Left fingertips or left palm. Left hand, right hand can be on a block as well. Left hand on the hip, twist to the left. Reach the hand up. Eye gaze finds the left thumb. Working the twist with each exhale. Trying to get those right ribs more under, more gooder, more better. Left hand comes down. Move the block if you took it. Step the right foot up. Find your forward fold. Inhale, reverse wind. Come all the way up. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Find a little bit of steady. Steady as it goes. Just a few breaths. Sit with the heartbeat. Let yourself catch up with your movements. And then we will get into it. A little bit of balancing. We're going to start by balancing on our right leg. Since you're at home, if you want to hop to a wall, you can place that right hip up against the wall to help you stabilize for this next pose. We're going to add flow to it, so you can't stay at the wall, but it's good if you want to improve balance and whatnot. As you press down through the right foot, you start to lift the left leg, flex the left toes, and draw the left knee up towards the ceiling. There's an option to kick this left foot forward. I'm not going to because there's a plant in front of me, and that just doesn't seem wise. Hands can be at heart center. Breathe. Take 3 solid breaths here. Start to take that left foot back. Simultaneously reach your heart forward. Reach. Let your eye gaze shift down. Point through the right, left toes. That'll help stabilize you. Ooh, if you fall out of it, come back to it. If you got a block and you want that block to help you, bring your block to your right corner. Maybe you put your fingertips on that block. Yep. Maybe you start to turn your hips up and your chest to the left for a half moon variation. If you're playing with Warrior 3, stay there. You can get to where we're going from here, but I encourage you to find your half moon. Lift your back leg a little higher. Maybe you start to extend that left hand up. And if you really want to go for it, try to look up without falling out. But if you fall out, cool, come back to it. Start to bend your right knee. Start to lower your left foot towards the back of your mat. When your left foot touches down, point your toes to the left and your heel to the right. Send your energy back. Drop into a Skandasana. So you can be high on the ball of your left foot, or you can have that left foot firmly planted depending on what your hip situation does. You can walk the hands forward. Find a little bit of space. If you walk the hands forward, draw the hips back. If you got super open flexibility, you can start to go for a bind. But if you're going to bind, make sure that left foot's down so you can stabilize. You take the left hand around the knee, reach around, right hand comes behind the back. Not in my practice today. Totally fine. I don't mind. Not at all. From here, start to shift the hips forward, turn towards the front of your mat. Find that runner's lunge. Heel toe, that right foot out onto your floor or just outside the edge of your mat. Palms come down to the inside of that foot. You find a lizard lunge. Find a little bit of length. Maybe you lower that left knee down. Just adding on, stretching that the inner hips, the adductor muscles, adding a little bit of movement, flexing the hips forward and back, keeping the head and the crown extended and long, coming back to your breath, settling into your body, asking yourself only to do this one thing right now. Softening with each push, with each level of relaxation. We're going to take this right foot, we're going to sweep it back. We're going to come into a modified side plank on your inhale. Reach the right foot back, reach the right hand up, press down through the palm. Find your modified side plank. Full side plank would be you lifting the bottom leg. You don't have to take that, but feel free to jump into it if you want. Right hand starts to spin down. As you do, lower right knee down. Come back to tabletop. Drop the hips back. Find child's pose. Child's pose, you can spread the knees wider. Make some space for you. Really get low. Really get comfy. Really make it work for you. Whatever's going to help you be present. Whatever's going to make this pose more enjoyable for you. Your inhale, start to shift forward, come all the way down and onto your belly. Tops of the feet press into your mat. Palms come by your side. Thumbs graze the thighs. Chin on the mat. Eye gaze looking forward. A little bit of a locust pose. Point out through the toes so much that the knees start to lift. Lift the chest, reach the hands back, push the heart forward. Don't worry about the length. Worry about the engagement. Don't worry about how high you go. Breathe. And lower. Maybe you drop that left ear on the mat. Maybe you relax those toes a bit. Wiggle out those ankles or something. Cool. Eye gaze forward. Point out through your toes. Start to lift the knees. Start to reach the hands. Start to pull the heart forward. Find your locus. Use that back body. Turn on the hamstrings. Turn on all of the erector spinae and all of that back muscles that normally don't get that activation. And lower down. This time right here comes on the mat. Or left because it feels good. Maybe arms go out to the sides of the room. Maybe the heels fall out. Find a little bit of comfort there. Hands come into your side. Tuck your toes. Find your inhale breath. Straighten your arms and find your plank pose. Down dog. Eye gaze forward, heels lift, bend knees, inhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Find your half length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bring it up. As you exhale, bring the hands lower center. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, bring it down. This time we're going to shift our weight into our left foot, start our balancing pose on our left side. Lift the toes, grip the mat. Energy grounds down through the left. So big toe, pinky, outer and inner edges of your heel, left glute, all working. Dristi, eye gaze forward. Right knee lifts, hip flexes, flex toes. Look forward, be steady, stay steady. Nice. Slowly start to reach right foot back as your heart goes forward. Start to point out through your right toes. Really turn on that back leg just like you did a minute ago in locust pose. Beautiful. Start to transition from warrior 3 into your half moon left hand. Down. Right leg starts to twist. I like to flex my foot now because it helps me to stabilize as I turn. And I start to make my eye gaze go up. See if I can get there. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. Today, I have a flower in my face, so that could throw me off. Slowly start to bend that left knee. Lower the right foot down onto the mat. Energy shifts all the way into the back leg as you drop into your skandasana. Find your comfy spot that works for you. Think about being balanced on the sides. I like to, at least. Not everybody does, but I do. So if you found something on one side, maybe you explore it on the other. See how it shows up. Slowly start to shift that energy forward. Turn those hands towards the front of the room. Heel toe that left foot out. Find your lizard lunge. Right leg straightens or lowers, whatever you need for your purpose of your lunge today. My arm balance folks know that from here, there's a nice transition for an Ekapada Kundanyasana 1. That left knee hooked onto that left tricep. You start to shift your weight forward and bend your arms like chaturanga. You straighten out that left leg, you lift that back leg, and you see what happens. And maybe you did a little of that or none of that. You stayed right in your lizard. That's all right. Or maybe you didn't lift the legs. You just got that knee to that tricep action. All fine work. Lower right knee down. Turn right toes out to kickstand. Going into side plank. Left foot back. Left hand up. Eye gaze to follow. Slowly start to bring that left hand down. Lower that left knee down. Find your tabletop. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, cat-cow. Lower down, hips to heels. Find your child's pose. Reground, re-steady, find a bit of peace. A couple breaths here just to steady yourself. As things start to open and get a little more loose, it's always nice. Inhale, shift forward, come all the way onto your belly. Untuck toes, hands by your sides. Chin on your mat. Point out through your toes. Lift your knees. Start to lift your heart. Reach your hands back. Locust pose. Find a few more breaths. Lift up, go up. Come all the way down. Left ear on the mat. Chin comes on the mat. Tuck the toes. Bring the hands in line with the chest. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, take it back down, dog. Look forward. Prepare to step or to launch yourself forward. With control, of course. Lift heels, bend knees. Look forward, inhale. Half left, exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse. Come all the way up. Bring the hands back to heart center. Take a moment. Find a bit of breath. We're going to move into our next flow. I'm going to add some things on. Do some more fun stuff before we start to bring it down onto the mat. And twist and stretch and relax and peace and pause and knock it all out. My cat is super disturbed because she wants to be in the mix. My wife feels some type of way about that, so she can't be all up in the video. But that is who you hear in the background, so shout out to all the animals interfering with our yoga practice. Come to the front of your mats. We are going to start in Utkatasana, aqua chair pose. Never fun for most. Inhale, bring your hands up. As you exhale, bend your knees. Start to sit your hips low. Reach your hands forward. Tuck, draw your tailbone in. Sit a little bit deeper. Eye gaze down, eye gaze forward. Hands at heart center if this is too much because the load is extended, right? You can bring your hands in, but press through the palms and lift up through the heart. Sit down a little lower. Start to shift your way forward. Lift your heels. Squeeze your inner thighs and hold. Lower down, lower down. Start to break parallel. Send your butt back, reach your hands forward. Send your butt back, reach your hands forward. Come as low as you can go, and then stand all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, sit the hips down. Draw tailbone in, pull the belly button, lift the mula bandha, get that core activation, shift the hips forward, lift the heels, start to come down lower, send your hips back, come down lower. Really working the legs. Straighten on the inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel the heat starting to rise. Feeling the breath starting to increase. Start to find your stillness here. Reach your hands up. Find your length. Bend your knees. Sit it low. Hold this one like you mean it. Yep, heels are lifted if you're really getting the most. Or you can keep them on the ground. That's your choice. Get low and hover. Shake and hold. Move and all of that. That's cool. Bring it all the way down into a forward fold. Palms down. Find length on your inhale as you exhale. Step or hop back. Find your chaturanga or plank. Untuck your toes. Lift your heart. Find your upward dog. Try back. Find your down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bend the open hip. Stay here. Maybe you sort of drop your left heel, lower down, flip your dog, lift your hips, reach your hands forward. Drop your hips, bring them back. Use that momentum to get that right leg all the way up. It's coming all the way through. Find your runner's lunge. Step the left foot in, turn the left toes out 45. Straighten through the right leg. Extend out through your heart. Parsvottanasana. Pyramid pose. Fine to stay here. Fine to use a block for some length. Or use a block under the foot to intensify the hamstring stretch. Chin to shin, nose to toes. That's the mantra. Move the block if it's underneath the foot. Start to send energy into that front leg. Lift the back leg. Find a bit of a standing splits or a standing L. Exhale, left knee towards the right. Inhale. Straighten. Exhale, left knee towards the right. Inhale. Take it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Forward fold. Core engages reverse. Come all the way up. Let the hands touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the hands. Exhale, bend the knees. Find Utkatasana. Find your chair pose. Lift the heels. Lower down. Inhale, straighten and stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back down. Go right where you were last time. Get right back into it. Fold it all the way down. Extend the crown long. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float it back. Find your plank pose, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana for your down dog. Stay here in your down dog. Or left leg goes up. Three-legged dog. Bend the open hip. Don't let your right shoulder dump. Straighten up a little bit. High on the ball of the right toes. As that right heel comes down, bend right knee so you can lower the left toes outside of the right leg. Pivot, lift. Lower, lift. Take it all the way up and back. Left foot all the way through. Right toes turn out 45. Straighten left leg. Find length through the crown of your head. Hands start to walk forward. Send your energy forward. Lift your right leg. Find your standing L or standing splits, whichever one works. Your exhale, right knee draws in. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, take it back. Lower down the right toes. Step your left foot back. Take a vinyasa. Find your down dog. Lower down to your knees. If you're still with me, maybe you got a little sweat, a little heat going. It's cool. If you dipped out, that's cool too. But the fun's just getting started. Forearms on the block, on the mat. If you're using a block, I want it between the hands. If you're not using a block, I want your fingertips forward. Make sure your elbows, shoulders distance, so they're right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are tucked. We're going in a dolphin. On your inhale, draw your hips up, press out through your forearms. Look back at your toes. Maybe start to tiptoe it in. Cool. 5 dolphin push-ups. Inhale, shift forward, chin to the mat. Straighten. 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. We'll do one more. Sure, why not? I like it. Lower the knees down. Oh, that's fun. And that hurts my shoulders. In the best way. Cool. Take a child's pose. If you like. If your arms aren't fatigued or totally burnt out, interlace your fingers like a basket. Drop your head into your basket. Look back at your toes. Take it up for a headstand. Tuck toes, lift hips. Walk toes in, walk toes in. Stop. Maybe you stop because you don't have the core yet. Or maybe you lift a leg and then the bottom leg floats. Breathe. Relax. If you're hanging out in child's pose, you're getting the same rest. Headstand is a resting pose. I know, people don't believe that. That's how it's written, though. It's written to be a resting pose. Shift forward on the inhale. Find your tabletop. Tuck your toes, draw your hips up. Let's move to a pigeon. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, right knee towards right elbow. Lower that knee down. Move those right toes closer to that left wrist. If you're trying to intensify that pigeon, look back over your left shoulder. Straighten out through your legs. Yep. And find some part of that outer hip that will love you for this. Find a bit of height in your pigeon. That's cool. Sit up nice and tall. Maybe you start to come forward a little bit onto your forearms. Maybe you take your pigeon out. Maybe you put a block underneath your head or something comfy like a pillow. Either one's fine. Be here for 10 breaths. Breath cycles include inhales and exhales. We start to stretch into these parts of our body that hold a lot of our attention from life, from stress. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for this stuff to bury into the tissues, right? And just find little pockets. That's why it's all interconnected. Your body, your mind, your breath, your spirit, your soul. These are all real things that need your attention. Maybe you have found that you can get through life without giving them attention, but in some way I am certain they are screaming for it. It looks a lot of different ways, but each part of us wants a seat at the table, an opportunity to be included in the conversation. Don't shut yourself down. Don't shut yourself out. Use this time that you've been given as a blessing to figure those things out. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Slowly start to come out of your pigeon. Hands come up. Left toes tuck, left knee lifts. Draw the right leg up and back. Right leg lowers down. Nice, easy downward facing dog. Let's get that left side real quick. Inhale, left leg goes up. Exhale, left knee comes in, lowers down. Right toe wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Shimmy, shimmy, shake. You can also take a block if you need it. Notice how my left hip is not on the ground because I got super tight hips. There you go. That'll stabilize it. I don't like that, so you can do that if you want. Not my fan. Not a fan of that, me personally. But just because I don't like it doesn't mean you don't need to know it exists. If you lost touch with that awareness we talked about earlier when we opened up the class, yeah, now's the time to find it. And just be with the present, with the environment that surrounds you. Can you soften your attention to a point in where you can witness and recognize all things at the same time? The background noise, your breath, the sound of my voice, any other distractions in your house, kids, animals, other humans. It's all a symphony of what's happening in your world. But if you can be present with it, you'll find a melody. It's not one you often hear because your brain is often clouded with all the shit you have to do. But if you can find a bit of that stillness I'm talking about, with 100% of your attention focused on this pose, this moment, these breaths, things start to dissolve. Doorways start to open up. Your reality becomes a lot more interesting. Three more breaths, cycles, take them. Hands on your mat. Slowly bring it back. Lift the right knee off the ground. Draw the left hip up and back. Reach it up to the sky. Bring it all the way down. Pedal out the knees. Lower down, down, down. Come to lie down on your back. Soles of the feet on the mat. Knees point up towards the ceiling. Chin tucks in. Arms go out. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe you rock from side to side a little. Rotate the ankles a little. Try to find a little flatness in the back if possible. Not always possible, depending on your body shape. But if you have a blanket, you can put it underneath the back so that it helps to level off the hips with your mat. So basically the blanket would end at the top or the bottom of your back, right where your low back and your butt meet. And then the blanket would be under your head. I don't have one, so I can't show you, but visualize it. You're smart humans. I trust that you can figure it out, especially since there's no one to bother you because you're at home and you can do what you want. Lift the hips, press into the soles of the feet, shift the hips to the right. We're going to take a belly twist. Knees come in, knees go left. Soles of your feet face towards the back of your mat. Reach your right arm up. Work your left arm down. Follow your right thumb all the way down. Breath goes into the belly and the ribs, all up in here. Slowly start to bring the eye gaze back. Work yourself out of the twist. Knees come back in. Lowering your back. Soles of the feet down. Shift all the way to the left. Yep, let's just drop in. Right knees come in, right knees go to the right. Or knees come in, knees go to the right. Left hand reaches up. Lower down. Look over your left shoulder. Complete your twist. Or keep your eye gaze looking up at the ceiling. Either one's fine.